one of my few friends, one of my best friends, Coach Lucas Ramirez from Saguaro. Coach, how's it going?
Hey, Vince. Happy to be with you tonight. Doing good.
Coach, now I know that, there's been a lot of controversy out there with teams that qualified for the Open and some bad things being said about certain teams, not, obviously not you guys, but teams that kind of were going into the Open, throwing in the towel before the games were even played, rumor has it, so that they could then drop back down to where they are. Before we get into doing a recap of last week's Open first round game against Mesa, can you address that?
Yeah. Obviously a lot of talk lately in the sports world and circles here in Arizona. My response that I've always kind of gone back to has always been, and this has been from the origination of the Open. I mean, because you've always heard gossip throughout the years of maybe a team threw a game, whether it was football or basketball or whatever. And I always thought as a leader, as a competitor, I just can't comprehend why. Just face the opportunity. You've earned the opportunity. And you never know what happens, right? And you give it your best shot, you prepare for the opportunity, you prepare for the moment. And that's how we're always going to do it. That's how we approached last Wednesday night. When we were in the Open and we gave it everything we had. And, I'm really proud of that. So now we have a new opportunity in front of us in the 4A. So, it's disappointing if true. I'm not going to go out and say, that everything was accurate or, whatever it is out there. But I know how we're always going to approach it at Saguaro. And, that's kind of my 2 cents there.
Awesome. Okay. Let's get right. Excuse me. Let's get right. Sorry. Dealing with a little scratchy throat. Let's get right into the game last week. What I wanted to do was run the pregame interview first and kind of get your mindset, because we're not there. We're not in the locker room. Obviously, you're giving us information, but we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So let's play that pregame interview you did with our very own Hannah Flanagan.
Lucas Ramirez, talk to me about how your leadership team has stepped up heading into this first round matchup.
Yeah, all the guys have done a really nice job of locking in and just understanding the gravity of this moment. It's a really great accomplishment to make the Open Division for the first time in program history. But, now it's another thing to be ready for the moment, step in here between the lines, and just be ready to go.
Yeah, and what are you confident in your team heading into this matchup?
Just how tough our group is. We don't back down. We don't give in to anybody. Even when we face moments of adversity, our team keeps playing hard. They keep playing for each other. So we're excited to go and see how tonight goes.
Yeah, and obviously you guys aren't home this week. How are you not going to let those emotions get the best of you guys and just stay positive?
Say that one more time, sorry.
I know you guys aren't home this week. You guys are away. How are you not going to let those emotions get the best of your team?
Yeah, I think it's just really embracing the moment. We always talk about that a lot, and this is a great place to play. This is a historic gym, so there's been a lot of great basketball games played here throughout the years, so it's really just enjoy the moment, embrace the moment. Not everyone gets to play in games like this every year. Not many teams are still standing, at this point, so just really appreciating the moment and just being ready for it.
Yeah.
Okay, Coach, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. All right, so your mindset and your team's mindset after you got off the bus in pregame warmups, obviously that was right before we caught you. What was the sense?
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of nice, when you're playing games in the postseason because, you roll in there and there's no really other distractions. You're the only game, you're not sitting through a freshman or JV game. No disrespect to, our freshman or JV games before, but it's just a different feel, and the sole focus is just getting ready to go, getting ready to play a game. But our guys have been loose for, I would say the last week and a half or so. There's been something different about our group, seeming to be more relaxed, maybe not as tense as they can be, at times. Any of our teams can be. But yeah, no, I think the mood was good. Everyone was locked in, business focus. And, as you heard in my interview, I used the word moment probably 5 or 6 times, but there's intentionality with that because we always talk to our guys about, embracing every single moment, and every game kind of has a life of its own and there's its own story with it. So, just trying to be present. And, I think our guys did a really good job. Obviously, it wasn't the outcome that we wanted, but boy, we competed, and it was something to be proud of.
Okay, so we're in the first half against the big bad mighty Mesa Jackrabbits, and here's coming up on halftime.
As he goes up for the shot.
Okay, you guys are up at halftime. What happened? You shouldn't have been.
Well, I was hoping maybe we got a better shot than that at the end, but it was a tough spot for Justice to be in, kind of falling out of bounds there. So credit to him for even getting a shot off. No, the game got off to
halftime.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And at that point, feeling pretty good. We got done telling the guys, prior to the game, during pregame, like, it's a 4-quarter game, like all games are, but especially in region play, especially in postseason play, it's not going to be just given to you. There's no games that are just going to be, total blowouts. So we got off to a really good start. It helped kind of 2 ways, right? Like, we had gotten off to a good start defensively. We forced them to take some tough shots. Some of their guys, their key contributors didn't get rolling right away. And then for us on the offensive side, like any team appreciates, we hit our first couple shots, couple layups here and there. The pace was really good for us. Like, it was an up and down game. And for us, that's when we're at our best. It wasn't like a micromanaged offensive pace. It was really free flowing. And just the vibes were good, as they would say. So we got off to a good start. It was feeling good going into halftime. And, we told them at halftime, hey, you're 16 minutes away from doing something that a lot of people probably didn't think was possible. So, just trying to be as positive as we could with the guys.
Okay. So you went in at half. You did your best Nick Saban imitation, gave him a great speech. You came back, end of the third quarter. Here's a shot at the scoreboard.
As Mesa will.
You guys are tied. What's going on?
Yeah, no.
You shouldn't be in this game, right?
Yeah, no, I think from, people from the outside perspective, just the seating by itself, right? A 9 and the 24 or whatever it was. But I think our guys, again, embrace that. And, like anything, any given night, any given day, anything is possible. And at that point, going into the fourth quarter, it was just, kind of a message we always tell our guys, no matter what the situation is, sometimes we just tell them, hey, in this situation, win the quarter, you win the game. It's 0-0. Forget everything that's happened before that and after that. So we're still feeling pretty good at that point. It's a good high school basketball game, and that's all you can really ask for. Have a chance in the postseason, in the open division. A gym that gets pretty rambunctious historically. I remember playing in games there growing up. I remember going to games growing up there. So it was kind of nice to have the home side a little quiet, for a good period of that game. But we had a great crowd too. We had a great student section. We had a great parent turnout, community turnout. So at that point, 0-0 going into the fourth quarter, and let's have at it.
Okay, so the fourth quarter, you've got a very, very emotional. The team is emotionally spent, and these are the waning seconds of that fourth quarter.
As this game,
What happened here?
5 left in this
There we
game.
go.
Miles with the second free throw. Misses. Harrington throws it up. No good as this game.
Okay, so final score, 70-66.
Yep.
And the message, the bus ride back, some grave disappointment. I mean, you're kind of dealing with a couple different emotions because, number one, you guys were in this game, had a chance to win this game early through 3 quarters up until the final few seconds of the game, and now having to change your focus that, hey, we have another shot. We've got another, we should be hosting next week. How do you balance those emotions?
Yeah, no, I mean, right away it was instantly, disappointed, but then quickly, proud, because again, a lot of people probably didn't believe that we could hang in a first round game of the Open Division. Proud, and then when you get home and you watch the film right away, and then you watch it again the next morning, it's a disappointment again because you know how close you were. I mean, we were up 1 with 45 seconds left, and we missed 2 free throws down the stretch, which would have put us up 3. But those missed free throws aren't the reason we lost the game. It wasn't anybody's missed shot or lack of a defensive assignment. You could cut it up a million different ways. But if we were just a little bit tougher, I think on the glass, they killed us on the rebounding front all night. So you get better a couple possessions or 2 there, then who knows, it might be a different story. But instantly, though, right away, I mean, just proud. It was a great effort, and I know they represented our community well. But yeah, no, really quickly, I think it was a lot of confidence for the guys, confidence for us as a coaching staff, that we can play with anybody. So it gets us excited and anxious to get on the floor Wednesday night and see how far we can take this here in the 4A.
Okay, guys, when we come back from the break, we're going to get a preview of this week's opponent, Tucson Cholla. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. With an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat. Hey guys, Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. It's where my wife and I have gone for over 10 years, and we trust them with our routine and extensive dental care because they care. Dr. Amber Angel is an Arizona native, born in the town of Miami, and has been practicing in the Valley over 20 years. For general to comprehensive dental services, call 602-788-2008. Located off of Cave Creek Road just north of the 101 in North Phoenix. Angel Dentistry, proud supporters of our young people and proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Overtime Podcast. Vince DeLisio and Saguaro SaberCat basketball coach Lucas Ramirez. Coach, we got the first one out of the way. We talked about the Mesa win in the opening round of the Open playoffs. Now you guys are back in the 4A division where you'll be hosting Tucson Cholla. Tell us a little bit about this Cholla basketball team and what we can expect aside from the wins and losses. Coach Ramirez, can you hear me okay?
I don't think I can hear you very well, Vince.
Okay, sorry about that. How about there?
You can't hear me, but I think I know what you're going to ask me. So maybe you can still take this and it can
Okay,
work.
go ahead.
But definitely looking forward to playing on Wednesday night. Hosting a playoff game is a very great opportunity. Be able to do it back-to-back years. We're super excited about that. So we're hoping for a great crowd. I already heard our baseball boys are going to be out in full swing. No pun intended. But we're super excited. Choya, they've had a really wonderful year. Anybody who's still playing at this point, has earned it. So nothing is given. Nothing is to be expected. But it's one game at a time for us. We're not looking too far ahead into the future. It's really easy to look at the next side of the bracket or who could be down the road. But I'll just say this: we like our path. And to enjoy our path fully, we have to, take it one game at a time. And Troy is talented. They have one young man who's one of 4A's leading scorers. He's averaging close to 30 points a game, might be 30 a game. Any given night, anything can happen. So, the big thing for us is just not being complacent, and just being ready to go, but they've won 17 games, like you can see up there, and competed very well in their region. So they've earned the opportunity just as much as we have. So we got to be ready to go. And hopefully everyone tuning in will be there in person to root us to victory, or, tune in online with you guys.
Awesome. Coach, we look forward to carrying the game. And the QR code up in the top left corner, you can scan that. It'll take you right to Thursday's game. Coach Lucas Ramirez, thank you so much for joining us on the Overtime Podcast, previewing the second round of the 4A playoffs this Wednesday night at Saguaro versus Choya. Have a great night, everyone.